All this fight with Uber and the Taxi Cab Commission. Well, on Friday, Uber started offering rides, 5,000 rides, according to them, over the weekend. To talk about it is Sagar Shah, Uber General Manager. Good morning, Sagar. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks a lot, McGraw. Good to be here again.
What was the reason Friday you guys finally said we're just not going to abide by the Taxi Cab Commission and we're going to go on our own?
Well, McGraw, this was really a last resort to bring UberX to St. Louis. As you know, we've been working at this for over a year now, and every step of the way, the MTC in one way or another has really found a way to block our attempts to come to St. Louis. This, was in tandem with a lawsuit, from Uber, in addition to several riders and drivers against the MTC for antitrust behavior. It was for violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act. And, this has been in the works for a little while. I think it's become abundantly clear that the MTC's actions here are not in the interest of the people of St. Louis, but in the interest of the taxi members that sit on the board. And that's the fundamental basis for what's going on.
Are you going to continue Uber until a judge shuts you down?
Well, we are committed to be here in St. Louis, and that's we've been working at this for over a year now. We're here for the people of St. Louis who have been clamoring for the same transportation options here as there are in other cities all around the world, and the other big metropolitan areas in the U.S. So we're committed to be here, and we're confident in our case, and we'll be moving forward.
Steve Stanger, county executive, says Uber drivers will be ticketed if they get caught in the county. What are you telling Uber drivers who are driving in St. Louis County?
Well, we're certainly in communication with them, and it's very easy for driver partners to communicate with our team. Our customer support team is very responsive to any questions or any issues, and we certainly have gotten some questions about that and are in communication and answering those questions everywhere we can.
Sagar Shah with us, the Uber General Manager. Uber announced that they are defying the Taxi Cab Commission on Friday and started offering Uber rides. Download the app and you become an account, open up an account, and you can order a Uber driver or a ride-sharing car. Now, Sagar, the Taxi Cab Commission says that their hands are tied, that they have bent on background checks, and they're going to allow you to do your own background checks, but fingerprints, that's a state law. And they say they cannot waive that. It's a state issue. You guys should take it up with the state. What do you say?
Well, as I mentioned, McGraw, we've been at this for over a year now, and that was an issue that happened to only come up very recently. And I think, this is something in which the MTC has really been moving the target from day one in our conversations. We've been crystal clear of the types of regulations that we've operated in now 50 other jurisdictions around the country, and we've been attempting to work in good faith to get there. And this is really another new sort of excuse for them to delay the process, and I think it's just another indication of what's going on.
So you think they have the ability to waive that state law?
And there have been multiple proposals at the table as well. They've chosen the directions that would not bring ride sharing to St. Louis, and they've had the options to choose which directions they take that. So I think fundamentally this is about protecting their interests and finding ways to keep ride sharing and services like UberX out of St. Louis.
Your background checks have come under some scrutiny. Sagar Shah, General Manager of Uber. If your background check discovers that somebody is a registered sex offender, are they allowed to be an Uber driver?
They are absolutely not. And every driver partner before coming onto the system is immediately vetted through a background check that looks at driver motor vehicle records, county, state, federal criminal records, sex offender registry, terrorist watch list. But it really doesn't end there. And with Uber, for the many folks who have had the chance to try it over the weekend, that there are just built-in safety features every single part of the way that previously have not existed because of technology. And every trip is GPS tracked you know whose car you're getting into. You have the driver's picture, their name, their license plate. At the end of the trip, there's an electronic record. You receive a receipt, as well as the ability to rate your driver, or the drivers rate the riders. There are features like sharing your ETA. You can send your trip status to friends and family so that they, on their phone, can actually watch your car and track your car to make sure the car makes a right turn rather than a left turn when it's supposed to. Built-in safety features like that not only ensure safety before you get in the car, but while you're on your trip and after.
There's a lawsuit filed in California, San Francisco, and Los Angeles that documents 25 different instances where Uber background checks failed to turn up felonies, misdemeanor charges that you guys have hired sex offenders, convicted murderers, kidnappers, and the like. Do you have a comment on that lawsuit?
Well, look, no system is perfect, right? And if you look at different types of background checks, there are flaws with state background checks as well, state highway patrol background checks as well. And those are not the gold standard either. There are certain crimes that are not necessarily caught by those. In some cases, there's discrimination against minorities when it comes to the arrest records that those types of checks look at. So that's why when we think of safety, absolutely background checks are very important, but it's also about the inherent safety features that you can still layer on through the entire riding process that tries to make your experience as safe as possible.
Sagar Shah, Uber General Manager, what happens now? Are you guys going to continue to just offering Uber and defy the Taxi Cab Commission?
Well, our lawsuit speaks to the idea that the Taxi Commission, anything that they've done is in the interest of keeping Uber out. So therefore, Uber should be removed from the Taxi Commission's oversight. And I think this is something that we'll have to, we'll see how it plays out, obviously, and we're continuing to move forward there.
Uber is available in Southern Illinois. It's now, as of last Friday, available in the city of St. Louis. It's available in St. Louis County. Is it available in St. Charles County yet?
Currently not available in St. Charles County. We've had very fruitful discussions with the city of St. Charles and look forward to continue to working with them. This is really about not being able to move forward with the MTC and the inherent conflict of interest that exists on the board of the MTC, and given that there was really no further path forward, this is a last resort for us to be able to bring UberX to St. Louis. Look forward to continuing those discussions.
When do you think Uber service will be available in St. Charles?
We've been laser focused on St. Louis recently, but looking forward to kind of restarting those conversations immediately and hopefully bringing it soon.
Sagar Shah, Uber General Manager. Sagar, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
728 here, Big 550, KTRS. Interesting world we live in.
It is. So pretty soon it will maybe available for you in St. Charles County.
They've been laser focused on the city of St. Louis, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Imagine, yeah.
What happens, because it's bound to happen with 5,000 rides. An Uber driver is going to go through a red light, get caught speeding, somebody else is going to hit the Uber driver in St. Charles County. Are they going to be ticketed because they do not have the regulatory authority of the Taxi Cab Commission in St. Charles County? Or excuse me, St. Louis County?
St. Louis.
So, I mean, this is a battle royale, if you will. 728 here, traffic, weather, sports in just a moment. Big 550.